Welcome to the Ottawa Renewable Energy Co-op's webinar about investing responsibly while leaving a legacy. I will be explaining some of the background on OREC, as well as introducing our current securities offering to invest in local, community-owned solar power projects. OREC was incorporated in 2010 as a renewable energy cooperative, which is a type of co-op unique to Ontario since 2009. It was formed as a way for any resident of Eastern Ontario to jointly own and invest in community-owned renewable energy projects. The foundational objectives of the OREC team are to generate green power in Eastern Ontario, to support the local renewable energy sector, to promote public awareness of renewable energy, to provide members with a socially and environmentally responsible long-term investment option, and to demonstrate a democratic cooperative business model. Since the co-op was incorporated in 2010, we have grown to over 400 members, who are all individual residents of Eastern Ontario. In 2012, we were proud to be the first renewable energy co-op to have a share offering approved by the regulator, the Financial Securities Commission of Ontario. That first offering received great support, raising just under $1 million in 2 months. Our second and third offerings had increasing uptake, bringing in over $1 million each. Our fourth offering is now open for investment, and I'll explain that shortly. The funds raised have financed 13 solar rooftop projects across Ottawa, totaling 1 megawatt of production. Our members tell us that they've joined OREC for a variety of reasons, but mainly there are two motivators. One is to generate more renewable energy, thus making Ottawa more sustainable and mitigating climate change. The second is for the responsible investment opportunity. Also, many members are parents and wish to demonstrate positive action for their children. OREC benefits greatly from the vast expertise within the membership. Many members volunteer on our advisory teams, offering their technical, business, and communication support. How are cooperatives different than a standard business? Co-ops are corporations like any other, but the difference lies in the 7 foundational values that co-ops must adhere to. These include broadly autonomous and democratic governance, non-discriminatory policies, giving back to the community, and cooperation amongst cooperatives. Because these values are deeper than simple financial returns to shareholders, co-ops have twice the survival rate of standard businesses. Climate change presents us with an urgent need to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions as a society. The challenge is not a technical one, as there exists today the technologies to provide 100% of the world's energy needs. The challenge, rather, is changing the political, bureaucratic, financial, and social inertia. Co-ops help facilitate that inertia shift by engaging thousands of people, all of whom have ripple effects through their communities and political and business players. The co-op vehicle also allows members to vote with their dollars by using their investment portfolios as tools for positive change. Solar photovoltaic technology is quite simple. Panels on the roof convert sunlight into direct current, DC energy. This is then inverted into alternating current energy and fed into the power grid independently of the existing power service provided to the building. There are disconnect switches on both sides of the inverter for safety purposes. The panels are warranted for 25 years and last over 30 years with only slight degradation each year. The equipment has no moving parts and takes very little maintenance aside from an inverter replacement that is predicted in years 12 to 15 of the system. Here are some photos of our existing projects. This warehouse hosts a 250 kilowatt solar array that is owned by OREC in a 50-50 joint venture partnership with Windmill Development. It has been operational since early 2013. Also in 2013, we installed 5 10 kilowatt projects on the roofs of nonprofit housing. In July 2014, we connected a 75 kilowatt project on Samuel Genet French Catholic High School. Then in February of 2015, the next 2 school projects came online at Franco-Ouest and Franco-Cité. This summer, we are connecting 4 more projects ranging from 50 to 400 kilowatts, including an array on Maurice Lapointe French Public High School. We currently have invested exclusively in solar projects, although we are pursuing other technologies this go round. Solar is being encouraged in Ontario before other provinces because it offers benefits unique to our power grid. As the most southern province with a large manufacturing sector, Ontario is the only province with a peak electricity demand in the summer for air conditioning. Because we heat primarily with natural gas, this peak is higher than our winter demand. Solar produces during this time of most demand, offsetting the most expensive imported electricity. By producing electricity in the urban centers without taking up any extra land area, solar reduces the energy losses that occur when power is transported long distances. These losses are 10% on average in Ontario, but upwards of 35% during hot summer days. All the fixed 20-year renewable energy contracts help protect the power rates from increasing fuel costs. Finally, when the Green Energy Act was introduced in 2009, it helped reinvigorate the manufacturing sector. To date, 26 or so manufacturing facilities have been set up to produce wind and solar components, many of which are in facilities that previously manufactured automobiles. How does it work? OREC first finds willing hosts to lease land, and we lease that land space for 20 years. We then apply for a feed-in tariff contract. On the investment side, Eastern Ontario residents first purchase a lifetime membership share for $100. Those members may then purchase securities, either preference shares or fixed income member investment notes. The preference shares are RRSP eligible. Preference shares then receive annual dividends of approximately 5% and a repayment of capital. The investment notes receive an annual 3% interest payment and their capital is returned in year 5. On the operations side, OREC oversees the construction and management of the project installations for projects for which we've received a FIT contract. Our systems are then connected to the Hydro One or Hydro Ottawa grid, and we then start the 20-year FIT contract, ticking at that point to produce power for the public grid. We receive our revenue from the sale of electricity to the grid, and then at the end of the year, the OREC board distributes the revenue by way of dividends or interest payments to investors. Our board of directors is made up of 13 members right now, all volunteers with various expertise in technology, community engagement, communications, renewable energy, project management, etc. On the staff team, we have an operations manager, an administrative associate. We have consultants in communications, legal, engineering, and bookkeeping areas. Impact investing is becoming increasingly popular amongst educated and concerned investors. Measurability is important in impact investing. OREC's generation data and greenhouse gas reductions are posted on our website at orec.ca for each of our projects. OREC investors are also able to amplify their impact through collective action and the economies of scale achieved through that. The same dollar invested in an OREC project will produce more power than could be generated on an individual home rooftop solar system. Social impact is also achieved through our 400 members, 1,200 followers, media hits, and political engagement. Some members are looking to invest in OREC as an offset of their electricity consumption. To do so, on an average electricity consumer, of which our members are less than average in terms of their consumption, an average consumer in Ontario would need to invest about $30,000 in a project like OREC to be able to offset the average consumption. Businesses are also involved in various ways. Some of our business partners host solar rooftop projects. Others are financial lenders to the co-op. Others host information sessions for employees and clientele. Some offer incentives for membership. Our members can receive incentives from Bose Beer, Terra 20, and Virtue Car, and Bullfrog Power, for example. Our fourth round of our securities offering is open right now until October 31st. We're seeking up to $1.7 million. The maximum investment per member is $250,000, and that's across all 4 series to date. We have 2 securities on offer this time, one member investment note, which is a 5-year fixed-term investment note. Minimum purchase is $5,000. We also have our preference shares, which are 20-year terms. Minimum purchase is $2,500 for non-RRSP investments and $5,000 for RRSP investments. If members have already invested, the minimum purchase is $500. The proceeds from this offering will go to fund 6 solar projects, 2 of which are already connected to the grid on Franco West and Franco Cité high schools, and 4 of which will be connecting this summer. They range from 50 kilowatts up to 400 kilowatts, all through the feed-in tariff contracts, round 3 of the feed-in tariff contracts. 2 of these are in joint venture partnerships. 3 of them are in joint venture partnerships. One joint venture with the French Catholic School Board, and 1 joint venture with a private landowner on their farm, on their barn. The preference share returns are structured in a 20-year term, with the first 5 years receiving dividend payments of approximately 5%. Year 6 is the return of capital, starting at 1/15th per year for the next 15 years, as well as a dividend on the declining balance of capital. Shares are held in a registration and transferred only between members. So shares that in that 20-year term, members can sell their shares to other members, but not publicly outside of the cooperative. The co-op also issues T5 slips and for tax purposes. The preference shares are RRSP eligible. They can be purchased in two ways, one as a new contribution to an RRSP, or it can be a transfer from an existing RRSP. It should be noted that these RRSP holdings have not yet gone through the process of a RIF. None of our members have yet gone through the RIF program. They are held by the Canadian Workers Co-op Federation, which is an arm of Concentra. And Concentra does have an opportunity to have partners who can do the RIF product. We currently have not gone through that yet, so there is some, the cost of the service is still to be determined. Also, it should be of note that these RRSP shares are not eligible for the first-time home buyers program. The member investment note is a fixed 5-year term, 3% interest per year with the return of capital in year 5. The minimum investment is $5,000 and it is not RRSP eligible. When thinking about OREC shares as part of a portfolio, one should think about mitigating risk within that portfolio. These securities, I should say, offer a 20-year power purchase contract with the Ontario Power Authority, which is an arm's-length government entity. So it's a fixed rate with a fixed buyer, guaranteed buyer for 20 years, which is a nice place to build a business model from. The equipment, solar in particular, has no moving parts and requires very little maintenance, and has no fuel costs. So the escalation on fuel costs is not a risk to be concerned of. Typically, the annual amount of sunshine varies by plus or minus 3%, which does have an impact on production. To become a member, the information is available at orec.ca or by calling 613-296-8232 or emailing info@orec.ca. Thank you for listening.